Hey, Liberty girlfriend.
We're doing a couple of these videos today because I feel like I need to really start pumping out more content. And you're going to see this Yankees shirt a lot because I'm not changing my clothes. I should, right? But I don't really care. We're pumping it out. We're doing it. You're probably going to see it over the course of the next week though, because I probably am not going to get to edit all this stuff. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What's going on, you guys? I am here for another video. And in this commentary video, we're going to be talking gay media. Because of the fact that I started this in my car and it was gays are not accessories, I'm going to put a card up above so that you guys can actually like view that video, because I think it's important that you are kind of up to date with what we're talking about. And in that video, I kind of addressed like the situation of, gay people being represented very, very inaccurately in media and how it grinds my gears, how they're really not doing a good job of it, especially in the newer media that we have right now for some strange reason. I mean, we have Pose, which is great. And we've had a couple of things in the past which actually do a good job of representing the LGBTQ plus community in a good light. On this specific I don't want to say episode, but I guess in this part of the series, I'm gonna be going into some of the stuff that we have going on across, on the other side of the world, because there are other countries that present gay media, or at least like have us in the shows. A big thing that like something that, and I think I mentioned it in the last video too, but something that has taken like a huge like surge of media is Thailand. And there are YouTube channels that actually like react and review those Thai dramas. They call them Thai BL dramas. They're called Boys Love. BL stands for Boys Love. You need to get there yourself. I'm not going to explain all of that. But from, I feel like 2017, there has been an influx of those types of dramas coming up every year. There is at least 4 or 5 of them that come around every single year, and now it has even moved over to the Philippines. Last year, there was a series that came out, and I think it was either the first or the second BL drama in the Philippines, and it was called Game Boys. And it was actually very, very it was actually pretty good. It was very up to date because it took place during the pandemic, and they based it around the pandemic. So it was actually like very much so like you could connect to it because you knew that this is kind of what dating had to kind of be like last year. Well, for most people, some people didn't care, but over there, it was something that was very strict. They could not really go out without a pass to go out. And you also could not meet up with people. Like it just wasn't, things were very, very like held down over there. So what did they do? They based an entire series around a small group of people, and most of everything was on like Skype video chat. So like I guess they were recording each other's parts like separately and kind of putting them together, but you really honestly couldn't tell because the way that things were flowing, it was like they were in the same room. It's like they were together, but they actually weren't. They really did record in separate places until like the final scenes where they kind of came together. And even in that point in time that both of them, they just had on masks. They did not take them off. The second like part they did, but that's neither here nor there. But that was kind of like where I was like, okay, cool. Like they're doing some really cool, innovative stuff over there. Let me check out some more. Now I had watched a few Thai dramas in the past together with me and stuff. And a big issue that I had was kind of the way that they depict, the way that they kind of depicted gay people over there. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, because I did watch a couple of videos to make sure that I wasn't being insensitive to the way that things work over there. But I kind of have an issue with the way that like they have like their gender roles. Like they call each other husband and wife, and they will call the one that's like the more submissive and the one that's the more maybe effeminate, they'll like literally give them the title of wife, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that's about or why. And then there's also like a thing where they kind of depict us as being predators, and I hate that storyline so much. It's happened over here too, you know, like the bully that bullies like the kid for being gay turns out to be like low-key gay himself, and he actually wants the kid, and then at the end they end up dating. I don't like that storyline. The storyline's been told too many times for me. Too many times for me. I don't like it at all. But they've done it a lot over there in Thailand, and it makes me irritated because even one of my favorite dramas, Together with Me, that one also kind of starts with like almost like a predatory kind of story in the beginning, because the two of them were friends when they were children. They come back together as adults. One of them likes the other, and one actually gets the other one drunk and then takes advantage of him when he's drunk, and then they have sex, and it's like yeah, I don't, that's like going into a very gray area that I'm just like, I don't like that, because technically that can be considered, so I don't like that at all. That's why shows like Game Boys, and even one that I'm about to talk about right now called Tale of a Thousand Stars, really sat well with me, because there was none of that going on. And there was also none of the, you know, none of the they call it I don't know what they call it. I don't know if there's a term for it, but you know, like when someone kind of denies the fact that they may be like gay or bisexual, and they're just like, no, I'm not gay, but I like you, and like, you know, talking to whomever their interest is that's the same sex as them. I don't like that either, because I'm just like, okay, it's understood that maybe you might not know, but I'm telling you right now that if you are someone who is interested in someone of the same sex, you are at least pansexual. You're not straight. I'm sorry, you're just not. You can't. It's just not like, if you want to put a label on it. I understand that people don't want to live by labels, but we can also be afraid of them, because when you are denying the label, it gives other people free reign to deny a label. It gives other people free reign to belittle a label and make other people who actually live by the label feel less than. So I feel like it's just not right to do that, and to depict that in media as, oh, you know, you can screw around on the side with somebody of the same sex. It doesn't make you gay or queer. It just makes me a little irritated. Let's just call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. Let's just call it what it is. And the thing is that I like the fact that in Game Boys they make it a point to make sure that they know these characters are at least bisexual. Cool. Now, the one that I just mentioned, Tale of a Thousand Stars, I just finished watching the 8th episode, and I have been keeping up with this one, because I haven't really watched it, because first of all, I don't like staring at a screen for too long, and then also my stomach will be acting up, and then I have to read subtitles because I don't speak Thai. So it's just like, you know, one of those things. But I really was interested in the story because it did tell it a little bit differently, and I also like how they handled the two main characters coming to term with the fact that they may not be straight like the way that they probably thought they were, because when the two of them meet, they are almost automatically in love. It's like love at first sight, which, okay, that's fine. I like that there was no um uh assault. There was no assault storyline. Like, we didn't have to deal with the person having Stockholm syndrome from the person that was their assailant. We didn't have to deal with that, and we also didn't have to deal with one or the other denying their feelings. It's like they were a little bit shy about it, yes, but the thing is like, you know, even the main character, that even the main character, Tian, okay, he doesn't shy away from the word gay. He doesn't shy away from the word queer. He doesn't shy away from the fact that he may not be straight. And even when he met up with one of his best friends, he told him, he's like, I may not be straight, because I have fallen in love with another man. I think that that is just profound. And it's crazy. What's crazy is the fact that we actually have to still have that conversation in 2021. We shouldn't still be having the conversation of, oh, I'm not gay, I'm just into you, knowing damn well that you've bending it over for not just that one person. I remember there was one like a couple of years back, and I think it was, oh God, what is it called? There was one a couple of years back, and like every single character in the show at the end of it became gay, but like none of them ever really accepted it as what they are. Like they never once said, oh, I am gay or I am this. Like that never once came out their mouths, which maybe is a way for them to try to normalize it, so like okay, we don't have to live by the label. But if you are sitting up here also denying being gay, that is also acknowledging that the label is there, but not wanting to actually apply it to you because you're afraid of what people might think. That to me is just, it's reductive, because at that point, who are you representing? Not the gay community. You're really not doing what you think you're doing. That's why this story is actually telling it properly. Because yes, when you first come into terms with the fact that you may not be straight, it is terrifying, obviously, because you've been taught your entire life, you've been exposed your entire life to nothing but straight media, to nothing but like straight acting, nothing but the heteronormative behavior. So obviously, if you are experiencing something new that you don't know about, you're going to be a little bit frightened. That's okay. But also, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're completely denying the side of you that is coming to the surface, that you want to completely like X out an entire group of people just because you don't feel comfortable with yourself yet. You don't have to do that. You can be like, okay, I'm just figuring myself out. I don't know if I'm gay, but maybe I am, since I do have this attraction to someone of the same sex. I think that is great that they told the story this way. Check it out for yourself. I'm not going to really go in because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who may want to check it out, but it's called A Tale of a Thousand Stars. You may, because the title is in Thai, you may not find it on YouTube. Like, I don't know, because I've never had to search it. It just comes up on my thing. It just came up on my thing one day, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting, and it had some actors in it that I recognized. So I was just like, okay, let me watch this one too and see, how it is. But the only thing that you really need to know about it is that it's about it's about this boy who he has a heart transplant from a volunteer teacher. She dies in like a tragic accident and stuff. Like it's a bad car accident. She dies, and then her heart is transplanted into the main character. And he learns about her and what she was doing as a volunteer teacher. And he goes to the village that she went to teach these children. And in that whole experience, he also comes in contact with this boy, this man named, I think his name is Fufa. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. It's like Fufa. And he develops feelings for him. And at the same time, the guy, we'll call him the chief because that's what they all call him. He also develops feelings for Tian, but he doesn't really understand why. And he had a thing for the volunteer teacher that passed away at the beginning of the series, but he like kind of makes connections throughout that they have some similarities, and he doesn't really know why, and then he finds out why, and it's like, it's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But at the same time, we are telling a LGBTQ plus story the right way. We're not being problematic. We're not being toxic. Nothing about their relationship is toxic. It just develops over time. Neither one of them deny their feelings for each other. They're just a little bit, confused because neither one of them probably felt that way about someone of the same sex before. So it's obviously going to cause a little bit of stirring up of emotions. But not one time does either one of them deny that there are feelings developing for the other. And they also don't deny it to their friends or the people around them either. When the other people tease them about it, they're like, they kind of stay quiet. They're like, oh, but they don't deny it, and they also don't make it a point to say, oh, I'm not gay, or I'm not this. They make it a point to not do that, and that's why I respect it so much. And I wish that more series, I wish that more media, I wish that they actually took note of that. I wish that they actually made it a point to do that. So there's this other series called Lovely Writer. And this one is actually very important because this is a series that actually addresses the issues when it comes to making Thai BL dramas. This is actually something that, because there's always like black and white, never gray areas when it comes to it. And like kind of the way that they think over there is like they want gay people to be in media, but the way that they want them to be. And the ones that aren't really in like the scope of what they think people will be attracted to. It's all about attraction. It's all about selling fantasy to cis straight women over there. So usually it's women who write these stories for other women. It is never usually a man who writes the stories for man or a woman who writes the story for men. It's always for a woman to see two super masculine men be in a relationship together. It's the reason why we don't get like it, when you look at stuff like that over there. It's the reason why you don't ever really see a super feminine man in any of the main relationships. The show is about a writer who I think he's falling in love. We're only on episode 3, but I think he's falling in love with the actor that was cast to play his main character that he wrote a story about in the series. Like it's a book he wrote and it's being made into a series. And the actor that was cast as the lead, he starts developing feelings for him and vice versa and stuff like that. But in the beginning, they're doing the whole casting, and you notice like the dialogue that the casting director and the producers and stuff are going through. They're like, they're going down the list of people that actually auditioned for the roles, and they're like, oh, he's too feminine. Oh, he's actually gay in real life. We're not going to cast him. They want straight men to play these gay roles so that they can act straight in a gay role. They don't want someone who is too feminine. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's very much so black and white. They don't want anything that's going to make people think that they actually really do support gay rights, because then like that's how it makes it seem like they're not being progressive enough, because they have that kind of mindset about them. They're selling fantasy rather than reality, and the reality is that there are just as many like super like effeminate men out there as super masculine men who are gay. And the thing is that you have to have, everybody has to be represented. You can't just represent one part of the gay community. You can't just do that. You have to represent all parts, the feminine guys and the masculine guys, and everywhere in between. You can't do half and half. You can't do one part and then have the other ones, show up but underrepresented and represented inaccurately, because then all of the super feminine guys that are cast in these shows usually are like the butt of every joke, or the ones that chase after the lead characters and then get shit on in the end. That is very much so toxic as hell, and I don't like it. So that's another thing. This entire like video, the way that things are done right versus the way that they're done wrong, and the reasons why the things that are done wrong have to be changed, because you can't have these shows are reaching out internationally now. Not just people in Thailand watch these shows, people all over the world are watching these shows. And if other people are watching the shows and they see a certain image of what they believe a gay person is supposed to be like, they're going to believe that, and they're going to take that into consideration. And then when they see real life gay people out in public and stuff, they're not going to know what to do, because they've only seen one type of gay person at this point. The same thing with with different races being depicted in media. If you only see one kind of black person being depicted in the media, that's all you're going to think black people are like. You're always going to think that they're all loud and aggressive. You're always going to think that they're ratchet. You're always going to think that that there's this kind of way. And it doesn't leave space for any other interpretation. It doesn't leave any space for any other type of black person to exist in their world, because this is all they're seeing. People really honestly do base a lot of what they know about other cultures and races and groups of people on what they see in the media. If they only see one kind of person in the media, they're only going to think that only one type of that person exists. It's asinine. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about stuff like this. Like, is this something that you guys are actually interested in? You know, do you like look at the way that different groups of people are actually represented, and do you look at it in disgust because you don't like the way that it's done, or do you think that maybe they don't know what it is that they do? Me, I think that they know what they do. It's just that they don't really care as long as they're getting ratings, as long as they're getting money from it. They really don't care what happens. They really don't care how it affects society. But media has a huge impact on the way that society is shaped, because most of the time we're basing what we know on what's on social media and what's in the media. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope everybody has a great day, okay? Stay safe and take care. Bye.